Yo, what's up, everybody? So this next podcast is going to be about Sarah. She has put out her own line of bags called Sera, and we're going to talk to her about the process and how it all came about. So very interesting podcast. So check it out. Right on.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Yamatodamashii podcast. Today we got a special guest, Sarah. You're joining us all the way in Japan. Enson's in Hawaii. I'm in the UK. The time differences are all over the place, but how are you, Sarah?
I'm good, thank you. It's like a little triangle we got going on.
Indeed.
We're really international, this podcast.
All corners of the world.
And I think I got the most unfortunate time zone.
What time is it there?
10 p.m.
Okay. So in Hawaii, 10 p.m. What about you, James?
It's like 8 a.m. right now, so hence the
bed. Oh, yours is kind of bad too. So we kind of even on that. Sarah's the lucky one.
You got the.
I lucked out. 5 p.m. here.
I think the one of the hardest ones we ever did on this podcast. I know we're digressing from today's topic, but definitely when the Rampage one. Enson, what time were you up for the Rampage podcast?
Oh, I don't even remember. I want to forget that.
It was like 3 a.m. or something. So
yeah,
worth the sacrifice for a hell of a talk, though. So
yeah,
cool. So Sarah, I mean, we got you on the podcast because it must have been like a super busy time for you as you've launched a new product. So I guess we wanted to have a bit of a chat about sort of everything that's got involved in that. So I guess take us from the beginning. Where did the inspiration come from delivering Sera Bags?
Well, thanks. Yeah, as you know, Enson and I, we travel a lot. And a big thing for me is when I travel, I'm always taking my stuff around. And especially for women, transferring between casual and dress bags or handbags can be kind of cumbersome when you're traveling internationally because you have to take separate bags with you. I keep trying to look and trying to find, and I mean, to the places we travel to. We go to Thailand, China, we go to the States, we go all over the world. So at all these places I was looking for bags and I was trying different bags, and it was kind of frustrating because pockets that I wanted weren't there, and the idea was born from there. I was just thinking, why don't I make something, create something? And that's kind of where it was from. And yeah, that's when the adventure began, and that was it was just over 4 years ago.
Yeah, when I travel too, it's hard to find like a real good bag. But with Sarah's bag is good because there's a perfect amount of pockets where I can, you want to carry your little headphones and your little gadgets, and then you want your wallet, and then you want something that, like your passport pocket, or like right now with COVID, the vaccination card, and it's like I find it for me, it's like the perfect bag, and the amount of pockets is like so ideal.
Yeah. You want something lightweight, right? But you don't always want to lug like a big, heavy bag sort of thing. You want kind of like your essentials on you there and then. So I think the concept's pretty cool. So you showed me a bit there. You said 4 years for the process to get it made. So I mean, what was the actual process of from like designing the bag to actually going out getting samples and that sort of stuff?
So contrary to what people might think, when it comes to designing. So I'm not a designer by any stretch, but what I did was I pretty much took a photo of a simple, belt bag. And then I just started drawing on the photo, like redrawing the kind of bag that I want and wanted to form, and, figured out the measurements that I would like. Everything was based around what I would like pretty much. And it started with that. So we sent that to some contacts that we have, and they made the first sample. And just through that process, it's taken a few years, but through that process, they'd send samples back and would, tweak and critique certain parts of the bag and say, no, this clip doesn't really work, or this strap is like too long or too short, or, the flap isn't sitting right. So that's what.
How many different samples did you go through?
I think there was 6 at my last count. There were 6 different samples coming back, and we wanted to use the bag, like actually use it to make sure that it was, you know, it functioned properly.
Yeah.
Ideal.
Yeah. So yeah, that was the process. But the extra thing with the same with everybody is COVID. The factory shut down.
Oh.
And then we went to go back. We had just before COVID, we had the one perfect sample that we were set on, and then COVID hit, and then the factory shut down. So we held on to this one sample, and then when COVID things started opening up, we sent this sample back to them. But our original like factory or place where they make it, that actually closed down for business. So we had to go to a different place. So I had to part ways with my perfect sample. But then the sample they sent back was close to the very first one that we've had years ago. So that was a huge, that was really not frustrating, but a bit of a like, disappointment. Yeah, it was.
Wow. Yeah,
it almost felt like she would have to go start from the beginning all over again. And we're like, oh, that's another couple years.
Yeah, it was.
But amazingly, when they did redo it, it was like right back to the sound. We almost like skipped a couple years and boom, this is the one. All right, you know. So it was pretty. It was a big disappointment, and all of a sudden it was like, oh yes, you know, it was a great happiness. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. And quality control is like a big deal. Like for me, well, you know, it should be for anyone. So they're being handmade, but they're being checked there before they send them, and also I check them before I send them out from Japan as well. So yeah, I'm happy
like any
that things
product,
are rolling.
You have the little, any product you have the duds, but this whole sample, the set that we got, the first order we got, pretty good percentage, man. There's very little duds. There's a couple, here and there. Of course, there's human errors, but pretty much pretty good, man. And mine, I've been using it, and I've been stuffed. I overuse the bag because I stuff my bag with too much shit. So it's probably not the ideal way to use the bag. And because I use the buttons a lot, because every day I come in the shop, because we sold out here, I use my bag and my wallet for the samples on the table. So the clips, I open the clips every day, close the clips every day, and so far, man, it's very good quality.
I would say that I'm probably considered like the fair use. Like I put, the kind of recommended amount,
Yeah.
But Enson's are good. He's really good at stress testing them because he likes, a little bigger bag. So he puts a lot of stuff in his bag so we can kind of see how far we can push the bags.
Yeah.
That's why the next bag will be Enson's ideal bag. So
that's
going to be the next step. Yeah.
That kind of actually that was going to be my next question. Is there going to be more product lines coming out? Is there other bags you're looking at?
Yes, I have about 7 different like bags and designs that I want to release, and I want to release them gradually. Like obviously financial constraints because we're just starting up, and we have like our main business with the bracelets is kind of our main thing. So, and this is just a baby, but at the same time, I'm happy to be growing slowly. In this because it's a new industry for me. So I'm learning a lot along the way.
Yeah.
And, it's exciting though. The whole reason why I started and why I'm in this is I made this bag that I really like, and other people have thought it was a neat idea. So it's kind of nice to share. Like I want other people to have that convenience that I enjoy.
We're getting here in the shop. We're getting super good feedback, and there's a lot of people coming in to buy more. You buy one, you leave, and they try it out, and it's like, oh shit, I gotta get the spouse wants one or their friend wants one. So so far, man, the feedback's awesome, man.
That's awesome.
And that was part of the design. That was by design as well. So it's not designed for men or women. It's meant to be one of those that is unisex, like it can be used by anybody. So I kind of played around with the styles so that it would be something that Enson or like a guy would be comfortable wearing, but also like kind of stylish and soft enough for girls to be using too. Yeah. Or anyone and everyone in between, whatever your pronoun.
It seems like the products that you guys put out there are always like really sort of either close to home, like things that you guys would want, like in terms of even just like Destiny Forever with the bracelets and that side of things. That seems to be like the MO, really, that they're products that you guys would use, right?
Yeah, I think that's really important. What do you think, Love? I think it's really important to have that kind of conviction and belief in your product. I have a problem, I would say, with that people that sell things that they don't necessarily, or products they don't necessarily believe in, that they're just there to sell for the money. I'm not a fan of those. Yeah.
I hate to be
What do
like
you
a
think, Love?
bullshit salesman, you know. So
Yeah.
if you believe in something and you really like your product, I mean, it's super easy to push. If I don't know a product and I can't really vouch for it, I don't want to push it. I've had a lot of people on Instagram send me stuff and say, "Oh, can you promote my product?" And I always decline because I said I can't promote a product unless I know what the product is and I've tried it and I actually like it. I have a very good following and I think I have a very good reputable reputation that people trust me. And I hate to, even people ask me, "Can you post this for donations and stuff? Help my friend get donations." I'm like, I don't know the guy. I don't want to do it unless I'm behind that person. I'm close to that person. I know that person. So same with our products, like the bracelets. I wouldn't want to ever sell you a bracelet that I wouldn't want to wear myself. So quality wise, I want to make good quality. So yeah, same like the bags. Yeah, I think Sarah really loves the bags. She's very confident and happy with what came out. So that's probably the best way to be able to promote the product.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And it's going to be the same with the and it's going to be the same for the future bags too. Like, we're going to make sure we test them and that we're confident that it's something that Enson's confident in as well, so that we can be happy to have our name attached to something, I suppose.
Yeah, definitely. They always say that that's the best. If you put your personal investment in it, right, it's going to pay off more in the long term because it's a product you believe in, you love. So
yeah.
But you kind of touched on it, obviously, that you've got the Destiny Forever business, you're doing the Sera Bags. What are the challenges of having your own business, and particularly having your own business in a country like Japan, where you're sort of selling internationally as well?
Do you want to go first, Love?
Well, yeah. For Destiny Forever, I think, of course, I'm still a small company, so there's no like CEOs or people that take care of things. So the big challenge is it's my reputation. If there's somebody that's unhappy with a product, I feel personally involved. So I think the challenge of having your own business, I think, especially for me, a small business, where when we get emails, is either me or Sarah that's looking at it and answering it. I think the integrity of how we do things. If people is unhappy with the product, I think it's real important to, even if we feel like shit, this person's kind of grumbling for something that not really our fault, we'll probably eat it and just to make them happy, say, hey, if you want a refund, we'll give you a refund. Not much, but we had a couple of those. Some of the excuses were like not really our fault, but I can see how they feel like, even if it's not directly our fault, it's about the process of the bracelet getting to them. They were unhappy. So we just, without any question, just reimbursed them. So yeah, that's the only difficulty, running your own business is the pressure you have of your integrity and your name, especially for me. Like I'm a public figure, yeah. And my reputation in fighting is someone of integrity. Joe Rogan even said something like, "Enson Inoue can't lie. He doesn't know how to lie."
That's very true.
I mean, somebody with that big of a podium to be able to say something like that about me, for me, I see that as generally that's probably what my reputation is. So more the so, I really want to be honest about it. I won't upsell anybody. I've had some partners that help me and try to upsell, and I had to get on them. My first partner, of course, he's a crook, Chris Kramer. I had to tell him he'll line up a bracelet and come back with lining up like a 300. At that time, it was a really expensive bracelet, $300, $400. And he walk away. As soon as the customer walks away, he'd say something like, "Yeah, how's that? I just lined up a $400 bracelet." And for me, the integrity for me is it's not about the expense of the product. It's about what the person really needs. So I think that's the biggest part about it is keeping the integrity and being real responsible about how the business is run and how you take care of problems.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, I think the product itself, just on the bracelet, right, is I think everyone will use it differently, right? But for me, every time I have something that's big, so say if I have a big meeting or a podcast, or even Enson knows this, but even when I've had some like real struggles, like when my mum like went to hospital, it was one of the things that sort of, it just prepares you mentally, right? You put it on and then you feel like, right, I'm prepared. So it's just, I think there's a lot of different unique ways that people use the bracelets, and it's always seemed like that's kind of why you were doing it, right? It was for really around the person, not so much like, oh yeah, the sales of the bracelet.
Yeah.
I think
about you, Sarah? You ran into anything about running? What is your opinion running your own business?
Well, I think I'm more I suppose the back end of the business. So doing the admin and the website and stuff like that. So for me, there's a lot of, I think, time management and making sure.
What about your bags? Is your own business, the bags?
The bags, same thing, like time management and trying to work around, the things to do with Destiny Forever as well. And also being international, time zones is a really big thing too, because we're getting, we get emails at all hours of the night, day and night. And for example, just yesterday I got emails at 2 and 3 in the morning that I said that the timestamp came in at 2 and 3 in the morning, but I don't get to them till I wake up in the morning. So sometimes there's that lag in being able to respond to people. And also, I suppose, setting boundaries and making sure that you're not too available all the time as well.
Yeah.
Because if you're available 24/7 for your business, you're going to burn out, and it's just going to be, that's not a healthy thing to have. And saying that when your business is small, you got to kind of make those sacrifices, in the first few years to get it.
And if you set a precedent that you always answer them right away, it's pretty much when you don't, it's going to be like, whoa, how come you take you so long?
Yeah.
Well, it's 2 a.m, dude.
Yeah. No, I can see that because, I work for a company, right? And you get hours, these are your hours. You've got to be working between these hours. And obviously sometimes you'll go over when there's, big thing. But when it's you and it's your business, right? You're kind of like, maybe I should respond to this at 2 a.m. Like, it's a bit more of a involvement as opposed to someone sort of writing you a check, I guess. So
no, there's definitely that. So I've come from when I was in New Zealand, where I moved here, I came from kind of that corporate culture, that more structured, like stable, secure environment, to coming to obviously, working with and for Enson. And that was a huge change in mindset as well. Because when you work for yourself, if you don't work, you don't earn money. So there's that a part of it, you have to hustle, but we don't like hustling. Like we don't like pushing things on people. So that's what we kind of struggle with, just that integrity thing that Enson was talking about.
In the whole scheme of things, we're actually shitty salespeople, because salespeople are taught to, like if a customer comes in and they're debating on buying a bracelet, most people don't want the customer to leave and want to sell the bracelet before they leave. But I'm kind of like, hey, dude, I'm here to the 16th. Take your time, think about it. And I don't want to push them to buy it. I want to make sure when people buy a bracelet, they want to buy the bracelet. And when it's super expensive, I try to line up a cheaper one. I try to help them. The worst thing I want is them to get a bracelet and regret spending that much money.
So Sarah, you're obviously still an active fighter, right? I know COVID's kind of slowed things down a little bit. But I mean, how do you balance sort of training as well, like full-time training, as well as running a business?
Trying to get on top of my schedule. So making sure everything's planned out. I'm trying to get in the habit of I have my weekly plans, and then every morning when I have my morning coffee or when I'm doing the bubbles and stuff, I try to sit down and just run through a list. I always have a running to-do list, and then I try to pick off what I've got to do that day, or what takes priority, and I try to just work off that. But if I don't have anything planned, time can really get away.
Sarah's a super good planner. She plans and writes things out. It's just when I come home, I screw everything up.
You mess it up.
No, I suppose that can be considered one of the challenges of our lifestyle, is that we have the shop in Hawaii. So for now, Enson's away for a month and a half, at least. So when he's gone, I get on my schedule here. I kind of get used to working on my own schedule and not having to consider anybody else. And then when Enson comes home, we have to change it up a bit, because now we're doing things together. And so sometimes that transition I have a hard time with, and it's just something, I've got to work on. But it's a challenge. And even being away from home, like for Enson, he misses things, here at home too, or vice versa,
Yeah. Just on that, because you mentioned about sort of keeping organized. Any other tips as well, like to-do lists? I mean, I'm guilty of this. I'll write a massive long to-do list, and then I've written the list, but then I'll never do them. Like, any ways you stay sort of motivated?
Me too. Sarah, give us some advice.
No, I'm definitely not one to recommend, because I fall off as well. And I think it comes down to personal preference. I've tried all sorts of different productivity apps and stuff, but that just gets me on my phone even more, and then I'll get distracted with something else. So productivity apps don't necessarily work for me. I'm still a pen and paper person. I'm gonna show you. This is a show and tell. So nice. I have you'll always see me with just a blank notebook. Yeah. And what I do is I'll have a running list like this one. That's what I was talking about before. And every day I'll go in. So this was yesterday's list, the priorities, and this is today's list, priorities. And then I'll just cross those off. And psychologically, it's really nice having even simple lists, like doing laundry and all these, because these little micro things that actually take up time can sometimes feel like you're not achieving anything, but you've still got to, vacuum and, do meals and do your housework and stuff like that. But if that takes a bulk of your time and you haven't done what's actually on your list, you do feel really unproductive. So I'd say put those on your list too. That way you can allow for them in the time frame as well. So I'm still working on it.
But I never look at them sometimes. I make a big list and I don't even look at it. It's like, and then later on, 2 days later, I'm like, oh shit, I got to do this and this and this.
Yeah. It's the worst when you look at 2 weeks back and you're like, oh yeah, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. By all means, it's not a foolproof system. I'm still trying to learn. I love looking and reading self-improvement books and stuff like that to try and learn different strategies to optimize that. But I think with our lifestyle, it's not the conventional lifestyle. So we have to have some organization to it, because we've got our businesses and training and our other projects that we've got going on. So we've got to keep on top of it. And 3 dogs, yeah. And
with that said, Sarah has a lot on her plate. I mean, even when I'm not gone, you got to figure she's designing. She designed her bags. She's doing that. She's designing the next bag. She has her fighting. She keeps the house super clean, and even with me around, she keeps it super clean. She does her sword sharpening, the togishi. I mean, a person would be happy with just one of those. She has all 3 going on right now. Yeah, and it's it's really time consuming. Now she has to feed koi. She has to take care of the 3 dogs by herself. So whenever I come home, I always try to do as much as I can, and wash the dishes, feed the dogs, do what I can, so she misses me when I'm gone.
Good strategy.
No, it works. It works. But I always, when I'm catching up with my friends, I always say that I do feel really spoiled when Enson is home, because he's really considerate in that because I sleep is really important to me. So he'll do the morning.
testimonial right
He'll
here.
do like the morning routine and stuff. Yeah, he'll do the morning routine and just so that I can sleep in. And you know, I don't like cooking. I can cook, but I don't enjoy it. So I'm a big
She's
fan of
good.
meal prepping
She's
and
a
stuff
good
like that.
cook.
Mm-hmm.
But I love that he enjoys the food that I cook too, and I'm really grateful because he has no problem. He'll just, you know, he'll clean up. He cleans up all the time, you know, the kitchen. So that makes it, I don't know, it's a symbiotic relationship. I feel we're a really good team. Yeah,
That's good.
blowing our own trumpet right now.
Super
You know,
endorsement.
I love him, and I appreciate you, love. Thank you.
Nice. So, final question. Final question. Yeah. Any big plans for 2022?
Yes. So, we're gonna have more bags launched. Hopefully. So we're just waiting on the next sample, you know, of Enson's bag. It's going to be a Yamatodamashii and Sera collab. Mm-hmm. So that's pretty exciting. I'm actually really excited about that bag. So that's happening. I'm heading to Las Vegas. So 2 weeks after Enson gets back, I'm going to Las Vegas to train, to get into some fight training, because hopefully I'll be fighting around summertime. So now it's all about getting my body, because it's been a couple years. It'll be 3 years in May that I haven't fought. And I've been on a whole lot of different struggles with with my body and the weight and everything. So, you know, we're starting to get my body ready to get into fight training and fight again. So that's really lighting some excitement in me. And then hopefully going back to New Zealand I'm looking around September, October. Fingers crossed. Yeah.
Tell people why you're going back.
To fight again. Pardon?
Tell people why you're going back. I think it's a huge thing.
I'm going to have my my Moko Kauae done. So that's the Māori, the traditional Māori facial tattoos. And my mum has hers done, her chin and her lips. So I don't think I'll get my full lips done, but I'm going to go and get my chin done. So that's, yeah, so I was meant to have that done pre-COVID too, but COVID's been putting a hold on things. So it's going to be a really full-on year this year.
Yeah, definitely. It sounds like a huge year.
And when she gets that, it's not going to be only me that causes people to look and feel uncomfortable in Japan. She's going to be one that you might actually attract more attention than us now.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know too much. I don't know too much about that side of things. I mean, is there like a meaning behind it?
Yes, yeah. So it's just like our moko. So we don't call these tattoos. We call them moko because they have a significance in it. A really deep meaning to us. A lot of it's really family. It's quite spiritual, and it's all family based. Cool. So the chin one is a lot of the designs are passed from generations, and the generations before my mum, a few generations were part of the colonized generations, so they actually had gotten rid of some of them.
Right.
So my mum had kind of brought that back, and now there's been a renaissance of tamoko, in New Zealand. So it's a real deep connection that we have.
Yeah. No, I think
it's kind of neat for me because I was really hesitant. The last thing I want to do is disrespect the culture, and I was really hesitant on getting mine. Yeah, but when some elite people in the Maori cultural group came over, I think Sarah's uncle Derek and Inoue, these two guys that are really prominent in the tattoo, they offered to make me do one for me.
Whoa.
And Uncle Derek, who is I think he's a real big thing. Yes, our Sir Uncle Derek.
Yeah, Sir Derek Ladelli. Yeah.
He totally was agreeing with it. So I felt, if those really top high up people are saying it's okay, I felt like, okay, they actually gave me the green light to do it. And I felt really happy and real proud of it. So
yeah. No, that's super cool. Yeah, it's just interesting because I don't know, I don't have any tattoos, right? And I don't really know much about like tattoo culture, but I always see like people like going for like tribal sort of tattoos, but these are actually ones where there's actually a meaning behind it, which I think is really cool. So
absolutely. And it's interesting going from a culture where, you know, moko is so important to us to now living in a society where they're like, it's so taboo.
It's frowned upon.
Really, it's really interesting. Yeah. So even now I go to, because of its links and associations to Yakuza from back in the day, but they still have those kind of connotations.
Oh, sorry, in Japan. I thought you meant in New Zealand.
In Japan. No, in Japan. Right. Oh,
yeah. Oh, yeah, I've heard the stories about people getting kicked out.
Well, you can tell I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. And that was one of my mum's concerns was, you know, how am I going to be treated when I have, you know, this moko on my face? But whatever I'm going to face, I've probably already faced it with what I have already, because I have, you know, quite a few moko and tattoos already. And also I feel that it's part of me, it's who I am. So whatever challenges that come to me are meant to come somehow, and, you know, there'll be a way through it.
Well, I think a big thing that you have to keep in mind is it's something really important to you, and it's something that you believe in. Yeah. And you know it's the right thing to do, and you know it's the proper thing to do. So people that don't understand it, it's not your job to make them understand. If they look at you funny because you have that, it's something you're really proud of. You know, it's the same thing that happened to me with Yamatodamashii. When I first made the shirt, people frowned on that, saying that, oh, that's like right-wingist shit. That's like Yakuza shit. Only Yakuzas wear that. So people actually ran away from that. They didn't want to wear the shirt. One of my students said he didn't want to wear the shirt because of that. And for me, I've actually wore the shirt around town and had young high school people watching it. They'll repeat, Yamatodamashii, and they'll start laughing at me. But, you know, I felt, you know, if there's something that I really believed in, you know, I knew what the word meant. I knew how important the word was to me and my life. And so when they said that, you know, because I had so much confidence in what I have, the Yamatodamashii across my chest, I just felt like I feel sorry for them. They don't understand. They're not open-minded enough to understand how deep and important the word is. Same with Sarah. That the moko is super important. Was it Kauae moko?
Moko Kauae,
Moko Kauae. That's super important to her. And if people laugh and snicker, it's just their ignorance, you know. And if she really believes it and she's proud of it, what can you do? You know, they don't understand. They're ignorant. You know, if they're like that and it's something you believe in. That's my personality, though. Yeah, there's a lot of people that are concerned with what people believe in, that think of them. But me, I'm like, you know, it's something I really care, and you don't like it, well, that's your problem, man, because this is something very important to me.
Yeah. Awesome.
I think that's something I've learned from Enson, you know, having that, because I was one of those people too. And I think I still have tinges of that too, you know, worrying about what other people think or how I'll be perceived. But just being with Enson, I think that's rubbed off a lot. And, you know my beliefs and my conviction is enough.
Definitely.
It's super important.
Awesome. Well, I want to thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to come and talk to us. But yeah, congrats on the launch of the bags, and I think they look great, and hopefully lots of people will be signing up. So yeah,
I have one thing to add.
Oh, go on.
Sarah in the beginning of the podcast said, "I'm not really a designer," you know, like, but Sarah, you got to change your mindset. You are a designer. You designed the bags. Yeah, I've seen what you went through. I've seen you drawing all the pictures. I mean, you're totally a designer. And whether you're being humble or you're a bit shame or you don't have confidence, I think you should have the confidence already. You've put out a product that's super good. You've designed the whole thing. I didn't even do anything with it. She designed everything. It was her idea. You're definitely a designer. Whether you're a beginning designer or just a starting designer, the fact is you are a designer. And I think you should get that in your head and just feel confident saying that.
Thank you, love.
Yeah.
Should have changed it. Kia ora, I'm Sarah, and I'm a designer.
Hey, that's a good start right there. All right. There you go.
I think it's part of the imposter syndrome, I think. No.
Nah. Yeah. Awesome. Well, thanks everybody for watching. We'll put the links in the description. Check it out. And we'll speak to everyone again soon.